Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's class. I hope you're doing all well. Sorry. Today, the 10th of September, English Advanced class. You are. Yes. Today, we're diving into an exciting topic. Okay. We've been talking about different cultures, and we've been talking about um what involves cultures, tradition, music, and everything. But today, we're going oh yeah we also talked about folk tales and everything. But today's topic is going to be folklore. Do you know what folklore is? I'm going to write this down. I'm going to write this down in the here. Today's topic: folklore. That's right. There, you see, it's in the chat box. Folklore is a powerful part of any culture because it represents important values. Not only values, it represents important values, traditions, and lessons passed down through generations. Um, anybody can anybody give me a different concept of folklore? What is folklore for you? Tell me, Shabnam. Hold on a second.
Hello, hello and greetings to all of you. Hope individual doing great. So, about folklore, I have to say that it's going to be a set of or like something to refers to the traditional beliefs, stories, customs, and besides, it practices that what has been passed through the generation, like orally within a culture. Moreover, it includes like myth, like legends, fairy tales, as well as proverbs and superstitions. And we have like different type of like folklore and different, for example, different lands and the same. Maybe one country or one land be rich and part of like stories like myth, legends, or etc. and customs like festivals and celebrations, or another land to be like famous for like their beliefs, like magical practices or superstitions, or for example in terms of like songs or music we have like for example in Afghanistan we also have some like folk songs and different songs that they're like demonstrating of like folklore in Afghanistan. They're really like popular still, and people really love that to listen to that type of like music and songs. And the same for the art and craft. We have like different like folk arts and the same way like traditional craft, yeah. And to be more specific, this like folklore it contributes to preserve like the identity and the values of a community or a culture, and it gives like a good lesson to everybody, to especially to the young generation, the new generation, how to just like keep these kind of like rich things from their like past generations. It is something that just know about like the folklore. And thank you so much, sir.
Well, thank you, Shabnam. Thank you for sharing your thoughts about folklore. Let's hear Rafia. Let's. I want to hear Rafia. What does she have to say about this?
Okay, thank you, sir. So, folklore, it can refer to tales, legends, and even superstitions of a particular, let's say, region or ethnic population or a particular area of people. It can differ from country to country, city to city, or even uh, yeah, even by people. So these can be called legends or superstitious beliefs, stories.
Yes, thank you very much, Rafia. Yes, well, folklore, as I said, is a powerful part of any culture because it preserves important values, traditions, and lessons passed through the generations. In a society, we have important values. Okay, you know what a value is. You know have to value things. Okay, everything has a value. We talked about this already, I think. We've got traditions. Yes. When a group of people has habits, we have traditions and lessons passed through generations. Kind of lessons that our grandmother or our grandfathers give us. So you're totally right about everything. Okay. Okay. Today we'll be exploring how folk tales, myths, legends are not just entertaining stories. Okay. Remember we saw what folk tale is, what myth is. Okay. Legend. Yeah. They're not just entertaining stories. They also reflect the morals and ideas of a culture. Well, by the end of this class, I hope you'll be able to analyze a folk tale and understand the cultural values behind it. Yeah, and we'll not only be analyzing, you know, folk tale from your country or from your region. We'll try to analyze all the folk tales as well. Okay, I'm going to give you um something. I mean, we're going to. I'm going to give you a reading, a document, a legend from my country, so that you analyze it and see the similarities and differences between your folk tales and these regions' folk tales. Okay. It's wonderful to know everybody. It's wonderful to know new regions. It's wonderful to know new societies. So, to start, let's watch a short video that explains the role of folklore in different cultures around the world. Yes? So please pay attention to the ways in which folklore reflects the identity of a community. So, right now, I'm gonna share the video for you. It's just gonna talk about folk tales. There you go. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay.
We can't do that typically with a folktale. If we think about the contents or the plot of the story, we see that it usually has some sort of moral or lesson that the listener has to learn. These stories are typically also timeless or placeless, which means they can occur really at any time or in any location, but the story will still make sense. If we start a story with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that doesn't tell me where exactly and when exactly. It's just a general kind of theme to it. Same thing with once upon a time. Well, when is that? Who knows? The story will still make sense, even though we don't know that maybe it happened on the 12th of February in the year of the Manticore. And all of those elements together help us identify what a folktale is. Folktale as a category includes fairy tales, tall tales, and fables. These stories are told as fiction. In other words, we know they're not true, and we expect them to be told as if they're not true. That creates a suspension of disbelief, so we are not confused by fantastical things happening within the story. We're not going to wonder why the animals are talking or how some lady in a pointy hat turned a prince into a frog. We accept that it is true within the story because the story itself is made up. We listen to these stories for fun, and the speaker will typically tell these stories for fun, or maybe to teach us a lesson or a moral. For example, that might be how good always triumphs over evil, or if you don't listen to your parents, then a monster is going to come get you in the night. So, why aren't myths and legends considered folk tales? Well, the simple answer is they are their own categories within folk literature. Myths are sacred stories that are told as if they are true, even if we might not believe that they're true. They typically tell us about some historical event, something that happened in the past, or maybe they explain how something was created. They will typically involve gods and goddesses, some sort of magic, but they're told as if these people truly did exist. And at the time a myth was truly believed, it wouldn't be considered a myth, it would be considered part of history. Legends are typically told in the present or in the near past. A legend might also explain how something happened or explain a historical event, but it is not a sacred truth in the way that a myth is. A legend might start with your mom telling you that her coworker's sister's niece did something, or your friend coming to you and saying, "Hey, did you hear about that guy that blah blah blah?" It's told as true, and typically we believe it might be true. So although myths and legends do kind of have some overlap with folktales, they are their own distinct categories. To recap, folktales are fictional, and we expect them to be fictional. They contain a moral or maybe a lesson. Their authors are usually unknown, and they are typically shared out loud. Fairy tales, tall tales, and fables are all part of this category, but myths and legends are not. I hope this helped you understand what folktales are and how to identify them. My future Wednesdays will be dedicated to a different folktale each week, going over what that folktale is and kind of digging into it as much as I can. And I hope you will join.
Okay, that's. Uh, how do I stop this? Hold on. There you go. So now I'd like to hear your thoughts. What did you find most interesting or surprising about the role of folklore? Don't say it loud, okay? Don't. Bowman, you've got your hand up. How are you? Got your hand up. I'm going to lower your hands, okay? Don't put your hand up because everyone is going to write in the chat box your thoughts about the video. What did you find most interesting? Okay, you're going to answer these questions. What did you find more interesting or surprising about the role of folklore in in culture? Okay, what did you find most interesting or surprising about the role of folklore in preserving our culture? Okay, I'm gonna write down this in the chat box. You're gonna answer this question. What did you find most interesting about the role of folklore in uh, preserving culture. Okay, so what did you find most interesting about the role of folklore in preserving culture? You can write a paragraph answering this question uh, after watching the video, obviously. So feel free to type your answers in the chat box. Oh, sorry, I haven't sent it yet. There you go. I'm sorry. Uh, Feel free to write your answer in chat box, and I'll be reading this feedback, okay? So, please, you have 5 minutes to answer this. You can express yourself freely, okay? Try to use sentences that are well formulated, and as I read your answers, I will I will be seeing if you have any problem in grammar. Okay, so you're free to do that. Buenos días. ¿En qué te puedo ayudar? Esta semanita vamos a descansar. Aquí tengo todo. Este tiene los que son de dos. ¿O cuál es la promoción de este? El promoción es que tengo 4 días más 2 dejas de dólar. ¿Cuánto sale? 11,25. Aquí está. Los técnicos de acondicionador de agua por este rosado y este. Estoy en clase ahorita. Ah, hay una contrato, por favor. Okay, we've now got a couple of answers, so I just read in order the first answers. Okay, Abraham says, "I love that folklore allows us to get a glimpse of history. By reading folklore, I feel like I am a part of the past, that I am reading alongside my ancestors." That's nice. I feel like I am exploring a world unknown. Okay, I feel like I am exploring an unknown world. Okay. Uh, every correction I make, I'm going to write down. I'm going to write down the correction in the chat box. Okay. I am. I am exploring an unknown world. I'm exploring an unknown world. Abraham. I am exploring an unknown world, not a world unknown, an unknown world to me, and getting to better understand. Okay, I'm getting. You can say I'm getting a better understanding. Don't forget. Well, when Ibrahim says a world unknown to me, an unknown world to me, because the adjective always goes before the noun. Yes, you always use the adjective before the noun in English. So I feel like I'm exploring an unknown world to me and getting a better understanding of literature that people from the past may have read. Okay, Ibrahim. Um, I've corrected your writing there. Yes, so you have to say, I feel like I'm exploring an unknown world to me and getting a better understanding of literature. Okay, what are you trying to say here? To better understand the literature people from the past may have read. And getting to better understand. Okay. Oh, I know what you're trying to say now. I'm sorry. Well, and to me, and to understand better, and could be like this as well, and to understand better the type of literature people from the past may have read or may have written as well. Okay, and to better understand, and to understand better, and to understand better the type of literature people from the past have read. Okay, so that's Ibrahim. Let's read Rafia. The video was quite interesting and elaborated. Elaborated. Okay. The video was quite interesting and elaborated. You have to use the past tense in that verb. Rafia, you have to use the past tense in that verb because it's already been done. The video was quite interesting and elaborated. The most interesting fact about folklore I didn't know about was okay. You're writing here. The most interesting fact about folklore I didn't know about was that it has morale within itself. Okay, you don't use the it. You wrote I didn't know about it was okay because you're already using when you write the most interesting fact about folklore, folklore is already it, so you don't have to write it again. Okay, folklore is the noun, and in a sentence, you have to use a noun or a pronoun. It is a pronoun, so since in this sentence you're using a noun already, you don't have to use the pronoun, so you just have to write um, the most interesting fact about folklore. That's the it. The folklore is the it. The most. Sorry. If I have if I have any mistake writing, I'm so sorry. I'm just writing very quickly. The most interesting fact about folklore that I didn't know, that I didn't that I didn't know was that it has morale within itself. Okay, there you have to write itself, uh, because you need to point out that you need to point out um, when you say within. Okay, you need to point out not only the self part, but the pronoun, the pronoun there as well. Itself, himself, herself. Okay, within himself, within herself. So that's how you would write the sentence properly. The most interesting fact about folklore I didn't know was that it has morale within itself. Folklore, as mentioned, has a role in sharing our identity, values, beliefs, and so on. The most important role of a folklore of a folklore. No, it's not a. It's just folklore. Okay. The most important role of folklore in a culture is its morale. The whole point of narrating folklore is delivering the morale of it. You don't say the morale of it. The morale of it becomes its morale. Okay, you have to use not a personal pronoun there. You have to use um, what is it? I forgot. It's a kind of pronoun. Oh, the word just went. But you have to write the possessive pronoun. That's it. The possessive pronoun. The most important role of folklore is morale. The whole point of narrating folklore is delivering the morale. The whole point of narrating a folklore, narrating a folklore. Okay, narrating a folklore. What? Narrating folklore. Narrating folklore. It could be a folklore tale. If you're using a, and then you can use a folklore tale, a folklore song, or a folklore whatever. The whole point of making narrating a folklore tale is delivering its morale with the people, and this can express the overall point of view of an ethnic population, such as beliefs, ethics, values. Okay, so Rafia, I hope uh, you I pointed out your mistakes. I hope you take account of them. Okay. However, the particular point of which caught my attention more to the folklore is a range of it. It's a range of it. It's a range of it. Okay. The particular point of which caught my attention more to the folklore. No, you say the Hawa. The particular point which caught my attention. Okay, you can use these. structure. The particular point which most caught my attention about folklore is, what do you mean by the range of it? Howard, can you open your mic, please, and explain to me what do you mean by the range? I don't know.
Yes, I actually have explained it later in my description. There, I mentioned how it covers the traditions, culture, and also it covers the generations of the stories that it passes through, and also it covers some other important uh,
Okay,
points in culture.
okay,
Yep.
okay, okay. I got you now. So, the particular point which most caught my attention of folklore is, instead of the range of it, you can use is how it expands. What do you think?
Or we
Uh,
can use the extent of it, maybe.
I'm sorry.
Or we can use the extent of it.
How it extends. Yeah, how it extends. That's right. So, the particular point of which most caught my attention about folklore is how it extends. So, that could be your first. How it extends. Um, as the lady described how extensive folklore is, I seem to notice that it covers all the essential needs of a story, except being real. Folklore teaches us moral lessons. It can reflect the traditions and culture, and it also passed. No, and
Yeah,
it
we forgot to add an is.
also
It is also
passes.
passed through.
Yeah, because it's continuing. It continues to pass, and it will continue to pass. So, it also
Yeah.
passes through generations. Yeah. So, folklore teaches us moral lessons. It can reflect the traditions and culture, and it also passes through generations, making it interesting and fascinating to know. Okay, that's great. Hawa. Let's see Atifa. It's an oral tradition and experiences in the past. I would say of the past. Okay, so it's an oral tradition and it's an oral tradition. It's not a okay. Folklore is not always oral. A folk tale, yeah, a myth that could be oral, but folklore could be expressed not only in writings or in tales or in fairy tales or in stories. It can also be expressed in dancing, in music. You know, folklore could also be expressed in I don't know, poetry. So it's not only an oral tradition, Atifa. Yeah, it's an it's an oral tradition that I would say it's a tradition that represents experiences from the past. What do you think about that? It's a tradition that represents experiences from the past. From the past. I think knowing of them are interesting. Okay, I think this is how you have to write this sentence, Atifa. Are you listening? I think knowing about it, is interesting. Interesting. That's how you have to write. Atifa, are you there? Where's Atifa? Yeah, yeah, she is. So, I think knowing about it is interesting. Okay, knowing about the folklore. I mean, Shabnam says one of the most intriguing aspects of folklore is preserving culture. Oh, in preserving culture is its dynamic and adaptable nature. Good. Unlike static historical records, folklore evolves with the community, adapting to societal changes. That's interesting. Those kind of phrases are very interesting. Adapting to societal changes while maintaining the core values and traditions of culture. Through oral transmissions, such as storytelling, music, and gospel folklore reflects both continuity and adaptability. This ensures that while the form of context may shift over time, this introduces more than identity, Shabnam.
Sir, sorry, I just continued at the last line. Can you just like see under the message of Rahika, I think.
Okay, I will. I'll get there. I'll get there.
Did you find
Hold on a
that?
second, please. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Says the most important point. Okay, well done. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I got Shabnam here. An identity of community are preserved. Remaining part. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Shabnam. Did you write it? Did you write this all by yourself? Because it has complex phrases, you see, and very formal vocabulary, I would say. So, I hope you wrote that by yourself. If you did, then congratulations. Okay. Let's hear. I'm sorry. Let's read Tahira. Folklore impresses our culture deeply. Okay, folklore impresses. The sentence would be folklore. Are you there, Tahira? Folklore impresses.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, good. Our culture deeply. Okay, culture impresses our culture deeply. Impresses. Why use the yes? Because folklore is a third person and it's singular. Okay, so you have to use the s at the end of every verb when you conjugate the verb. So folklore impresses our culture deeply. The most interesting thing about okay, the most interesting thing about it, different stories that impact our culture and preserve it more and more. The most interesting thing about it, okay, the most interesting thing about it is, okay, the most interesting thing about it is the different stories, blah blah blah, that impact our culture and preserve it more and more. Yeah, you can say that. As I read some folklore stories, as I read some folklore, as I read some folklore stories, are exact things that we have them in our society and we believe them. Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to say here, Tahira. Tell me.
Yes. Yes, sir. I mentioned that as I read some folklore stories, the stories that are exist in our folklores, they are exact things. I mean that I find exact values, exact beliefs that we have now in our society.
Okay.
It means that folklore impact on our culture and it preserve our culture up to now.
Okay, great. I got you now. So you could say, as I read folklore stories, not just omit some. As I read folklore stories, comma, I find there are exact things that we have in our society. Okay, that would be your that would be your and we believe them. Great. So that would be your question. I'm sorry, your sentence. As I read folklore stories, I find there are exact things that we have in our society and we believe them. Okay, that would be the right way of writing that sentence. Rika says the most important point about folklore is that it's interesting to everyone, not a particular group. Of course, that's right. Of age and people and identity. Okay, Bowman says folklore plays a crucial role in preserving culture and history, explaining the world, providing a social cohesion, and adapting to change. It transmits knowledge, creates a shared sense of identity, helps people make sense of the world, provides more guidance, and fosters community through shared experiences and emotional release. That's good, Boman. You don't have any mistakes there. Folklore evolved with changing times, demonstrating cultural resilience and connecting people across generations and cultures. Very, very good, Boman. I hope you wrote this by yourself, okay? And I hope everyone wrote these thoughts by yourselves. Why do I need you to write down everything by yourselves? I'm not going to give you a grade or anything just because you copy and paste.
Yes, teacher, I did by
Okay?
myself.
What I need is for you to write down by yourselves your thoughts. That way, I can, you know, correct your mistakes. And by correcting your mistakes, you will be able to uh, read better, write better, speak better. Okay? Because this is an English course and it's kind of like high level. Rafia, we hear you.
Sir, I have a question that what's the difference between a folklore and a folk tale? They seem like very similar to me.
Okay, great question. Right now, I'm going to share the. Oh, God. Hold on. Let me open a whiteboard because I also saw that everyone is kind of a little bit confused with all this. Okay, so I'm going to share the whiteboard. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay. Uh, we've got the word folklore. Okay, folklore. I'm sorry, guys. It's just that. Okay, we've got folklore there. Yeah, folklore is a compilation. Let's say that folklore is a compilation of different things we have in our region. Okay, so if we have folklore here, oh my god. Okay, if we have folklore here, then oh god, I don't know how to use this. Their sons or their folklore involves different things. Like for example, music. We're talking about a region, okay? Traditions. Traditions. Okay? We're gonna write here folk tales. Yeah? We're gonna put here dances. Okay? So you see, folklore, it's a huge category that has all the little children inside the society. So, folk tales are part of the folklore of a society. Yeah? Music, traditions, dances, habits, dialects are all part of the folklore of a society, of a region, of a community, we would say. Yes? That's the difference. That's perhaps something that you were confused. Is it a little bit more clear now? Of course, dialects as well. What does a dialect mean? Do you remember when we were talking about the accent of a region? You know, the Indian region has a most has a more uh, accented words in English. The British have a more classical dialect. They are like speak like posh people, you know. In of course poems too. In America we have a mix of cultures. So the folklore of America is really small compared to the melting pot we have there. Do you remember where a melting pot is? Yes, the mix of cultures from all the world. They're all mixed in the United States of America. So, but folklore is traditional from the community, from the country, from the state. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. Is that clear for you, Rafia? Okay,
Yes, sir. That's quite clear for me now.
okay, that's great. So I'm going to stop the presentation. There you are. That's good. So that's what folklore is. Okay, what do you think? Is folklore important for us? Do you think knowing the folklore of other region is important for people? I'm going to okay, Rafai Shabnam. I'm not going to give you the word right now because okay, that's right, right. Folk tales are no, folk tales are, not is. Folk tales are because there are many. Okay, it's in plural. Folktales are a part of culture. Yes, Erika, dialects as well, as I told you already. And poems too, sir? Yes, Rafia. Poems go inside folklore. I'm not going to give you the word right now because the lesson is almost over. Yes, I'm going to put a document. Okay, I want you to read. For homework, you're just going to read. Yes, I'm going to send you a PDF of a small, very small, a one-page legend from my country. Okay, it's called the Legend of Cantuña. Yeah, a Legend of Cantuña. That's what it's called. So you're going to read and analyze. Yes, uh, this legend. It's not a folk tale. It's a legend, and I want you to write down the moral or the lesson of the story. Okay, how does the story reflect the values of culture when it comes from where it comes from? I want you to see if you can relate this story to any similar folk tales or legends or traditions from your own culture. Yes, uh, and you're going to write a little essay. After reading this, you're going to write a little essay. Not long, perhaps three, not more than four paragraphs long, and you're gonna upload it in PDF to the folder, to the virtual folder I'm going to give you. Okay? Are you okay with that, or is that too much for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's great. That sounds
Yeah, we
nice.
will
No
do.
problem.
Great.
We'll do that.
So in along the day, I'm going to send you that. I'm going to explain to you properly in the message in the WhatsApp group, and just upload it, and I'll read your thoughts. Okay? I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for being part of this wonderful um, lesson. What did you think about it? Was it good? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I want to see.
It's nice.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. And I leave you. Oh, by the way, I need you to. Well, there's gonna be two messages in the WhatsApp group, okay? Because the videos are ready. So I'm going to give you the reproduction list from the YouTube channel, so you can watch the videos, the lessons from before. Okay? Yeah, we've had a lot of problems and technical problems, and change from Zoom to Meet and everything. But right now we're getting into this, right? So thank you very much. Have a great week. A great week ahead of you because we're on Tuesday right now. So thank you very much. Bye bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.